Hello. So today I'm going to talk about something that really surprised me in the tank. That happened yesterday and is continuing now. As you can see, the Filefish is now measuring forces with the Tomini tank in that area. And I noticed it because yesterday the Bangai Cardinals made the egg transfer to the male, and I was filming the male inside that cave beneath the bubble tips in the back. And then I noticed that this filefish wouldn't leave this rock. And I have two mated filefish, and they are both females. The males have bristles, almost like a brush at the base of the tail when they're adults. And these two filefish are already adults, and they are both females. They get along sort of well, although they have a few bickerings, nothing serious. But right now, she is defending the base of that rock. And this is really surprising, taking into account that there's only two females in this tank. And as far as I know, and I don't know much about the way they breed, I'm sure that it doesn't involve two females. And they don't get along that well. But, and here's the astonishing part about all this. I have been looking for a male for quite a long time, but it's not easy because most of the fish that come into the stores are small, and you can't tell the sex when they are young. You can only notice those bristles at the base of the tail, and they're not easy to see when they're adults. And so, I live in an isolated area in the south of Portugal, interior south, and I don't have any nearby fish stores, but a new one opened in Badajoz, close to 70 kilometers from where I live. And I saw on their website that they had a large filefish for sale, and I asked them if they could tell me which gender it was. And of course they didn't know how. It's not something that is common knowledge. And I sent them some pictures, and they told me that they thought it was a male. And so I went there, I got the fish, and of course I didn't put it inside this tank because it's a huge risk, especially when you have an established tank, and this tank has I think 26 fish, something like that. You put them all at risk when you put a new fish inside the tank without any kind of precaution, because no matter what anyone tells you, there aren't any safe protocols to guarantee that you're bringing healthy fish home. A large amount of fish arrive due to the large concentrations of fish when they're being held, and the stress, and they're going through many tanks until they arrive in our aquariums. So we need to take big care and do some sort of quarantine. In my case, I'm following a method by Humble Fish that should cover both Odinium and Cryptocarium. So, in short, it involves a tank transfer, initially every 36 hours, and when you reach the middle, then you go for 72 hours between each transfer. As you can see here, she's trying to push him away, and almost, you see, he has a ripped anal fin, she has a ripped tail. The female betta also has a ripped tail. I never had so many fish with ripped tails and fins in the tank. And it's astounding because I have this fish now, the male, in quarantine, but And when I brought him home, after I think 2 days, this began. She began claiming a territory, cleaning it, and defending it, which is something I never saw before. But she's doing it without a partner. And the astonishing part is that how can she know that there is a partner inside the house? It's not in the tank, and because these parasites can be aerosolized, and given even the pandemic that we're living, I'm very conscious about safe distance. So the quarantine tank is maybe 5 meters away, and it's not completely transparent because I'm doing the quarantine in storage boxes that are fuzzy. It's a fuzzy plastic, so maybe she has seen the male, but she must have really great vision, because is really far away, maybe 5 meters away probably, and inside a fuzzy box. And that's the only explanation I can find for this behavior. She keeps all the fish away from the base of these rocks, she's cleaning it. I'm not sure if she's trying to reap some zoantids. It seems that she bothered the goniopora above her. Really, fish never never stop surprising me, and I find this is amazing, because I think it would be too much of a coincidence that she would start this kind of breeding behavior with just another female in the tank, and she doesn't let that female near that place. She chases all fish away. And I think the only explanation is that she's aware that there is a male nearby. And how can she be aware of that? I think the only explanation is by sight. Maybe she has seen it from 5 meters away, which is amazing, really. If that's the explanation, it's amazing. If you have any other explanation for this kind of behavior, please post it below. I'm very curious, and it's something that I'll be watching over the next days, because the quarantine is going to last maybe more 12 days, something like that. And so I'm curious to see if she'll continue to defend these rocks through this whole period, and what will happen. At the back you can see the bangais. That's the female at the back, and yesterday they made the egg transfer, and I was curious to see how the female reacted, because what I've noticed is when the male wants to abort, she doesn't let him out of her sight more than 3 or 4 centimeters. She's on top of him because she knows what he wants to do, and she gets very nervous. I'm not sure if he swallows the eggs or if she spits them, but I noticed that today she's giving the male more free reign. So I'm more confident that you'll carry the batch of eggs to full term, which is a relief, because now it means that the other 9 bangais can have a nice vacation. But even though the male is with the eggs, he still chases the other bangais a bit. But it means that the other bangais don't need to hide. They can be out and about, and they don't need to hide, because normally when now she's went to chase I don't know what fish, but I'm sure she'll return in just a few seconds. Here she comes. When the couple is not, the male is not holding eggs, they make the lives of the other 9 bangais miserable part of the time. I think it's a hormonal thing, because there are times when the other Bengais can be out and about, and there are times where it's absolutely impossible. The thing is that because these fish have been born in this tank and they know the tank very well, they know where to go. And so although they don't lead, I think, very happy lives, because many of them need to be hidden, but it's not all the time. And given that these fish breed regularly, it makes the situation barely tolerable, and it changes. For instance, this last period when they were not incubating, it was really peaceful compared to the previous ones. Other than that, the tank has been doing fine, sort of. I have been trying for quite some time acro power. Not a fan, because as you can see, I have some cyano at the back, and it started really bad when I started dosing acro power. And now I finished the bottle. I'm curious to see how the cyano will evolve. Regarding the marine bettas, they get along sort of well. I don't see them fighting. This is most likely the female. She's almost now the same size as the male, which is a different species. The female is an Altivelis and the male is an Argus. The Argus for me is a more graceful fish, because the dots are very fine, very well aligned. Even the way it moves, it's majestic. It's different. The ventral fins, but also maybe because it's a male, the ventral fins are extremely long, and he uses them in a different way. But it's a very difficult fish to film because he's very shy. Unlike the female, which I can get the camera in front of her, it's very difficult to get good images of the male. It's something that I haven't managed to get yet, because he stays mostly at the back. There was a time when he would come to the front, but if I came, he would immediately retreat. And it's the tank now is very interesting to watch. Having a filefish with this kind of behavior is extremely interesting. I don't know if you noticed, but she is extremely full, and I'm not sure if it's just the eggs, because I normally feed the marine bettas with a stick, and I put a piece of shrimp, but of course other fish have quickly learned that what does the stick mean, and I try to push them away with the stick and they don't go. So the two filefish, when they see the stick, they come. The two heraldi angels the same. So it's becoming very difficult to feed the two marine bettas, especially the Argus, the male, because he needs to be really hungry to attack the stick in just a few seconds. If that's not the case, if he's not extremely hungry, it takes much more time to decide to attack the little piece of shrimp at the end of the stick. And for that to happen, it needs to be between 4 and 5 days without eating. The female, she can eat almost every day a big piece of shrimp. You can see that she uses her fins to hold on the rocks, and so she doesn't have to make any effort to stay in the same place. It's the fact that I have two marine bettas, and even more important, two flame hawkfish, makes it impossible for me to have shrimp in this tank. I'm not sure if it's impossible, but it's something I'm not willing to risk, because they're part of the menu for these fish, and I think I would feel more confident with the marine bettas than with the hawks. The two hawks are very violent fish when they want. um, they make extremely violent attacks if I try to put a new fish. When I put the last flame angel, the female, although I had her in a acclimation box for some days, and you could see her coming here, they made some really vicious attacks on her, and I think they caused some damage on her swimming bladder. So she has to make some effort to keep afloat, a bit like the flame hawks. And I think that's the reason why she doesn't put some weight, because she makes a lot of effort to just to swim. So you can see at the back, now changing subject, the male Bangai below the female, and the male has a distended jaw. And so this tank has been really very interesting to watch. There's always new stuff happening, and I think it's due to the fish selection. I made some mistakes, but I also did some things right. And the end result is that it's in terms of fish behavior, it's been very interesting to watch. Some things are not that nice to watch, like the aggression between the bangais, but then there are many weeks when it's great. It's a rare vision to have a shoal of bangais getting along, and that happens sometimes for some weeks in a row, especially when the male their father is holding. Right now I'm very curious to see what will happen over the next days with this filefish, and especially when I bring the male to the tank in a couple of weeks. Once again, thanks for watching.